Hello, I'm Gavin Hoey and this is the Technique of the Month from Digital Photo Magazine. Now on this month's cover CD you'll find our washing line photo template. What's a washing line photo template, I hear you asking? Well, it's the chance for you to put your own pictures on a washing line. Now that sounds like a really amazingly crazy idea, but trust me, at the end of it actually looks really good. And I'm going to show you how you can prepare this template and put your pictures in it. Right, so I've got the template open on screen. The first thing we need to do is to prepare this template so it'll accept the images, and that means doing a little bit of work with layers. So come up to Window and then go down to Layers. Now when you open the layers you'll find one single layer, it'll be called Background and it'll have a padlock next to it. Now what we need to do is to get rid of that padlock, and the reason we need to do that is because in a moment or two we're going to put some pictures underneath this layer. But if you've got a padlock layer, you can't put anything underneath it. It's going to be the bottom of your layer stack. Now it's really simple to get rid of that padlock. Just come up to the layer thumbnail and double click it. Now you'll get a box popping up that will say what do you want to rename this layer to. The default name is layer 0. We'll leave it on that. That's fine. We'll click OK and our padlock has magically gone. Great, that's it, all done. Close that down. So, looking at the picture itself, we're going to put 3 pictures on these Polaroid frames. We're going to remove these black areas and replace them with our own pictures. So let's start by removing the black areas by getting the magic wand tool and clicking on anywhere inside of the black area on the left hand picture, like that. Now I've got to do the same with the other 2 pictures, but hold on a second. Before you click on the second one, you need to be holding the Shift key on the keyboard. When you hold Shift, you see a very small plus appears next to your magic wand. Now that's going to show you that you're going to add to your existing selection. If you're not holding Shift, you'll find your first selection will just vanish completely. So we'll add it in, we'll keep holding the Shift key, and we'll add the third one in, like so. Now, before we remove those black areas, we're going to fine-tune our selection to get it looking really neat and tidy. Because back here it kind of looks okay, and if we zoom in it kind of looks okay. But there are certain areas where it's a little bit jagged in places, and it's just not gone far enough onto the white area. It's missing it a little bit. So let's come up to Select, down to Modify, and we'll go across to Expand. Now this will expand our selection. I'm going to expand it just by 1 single pixel and click OK. Watch what happens to the little marching ants when I click OK. There we go. Did you see the move? They've just stepped towards the white area a bit more. Now they're also just slightly rough in places as well, so we're going to smooth that line out by going to Select, Feather, and we're going to feather it 2 pixels. There we go. Now that really has very little effect actually on the marching ants, but that just smooths everything out, although it's not that easy to see. Right, to remove those black areas, just come up to Edit and choose Cut, and you'll get rid of the marching ants, and you'll get rid of the black as well. So you now see the checkerboard pattern, which indicates we have transparency, and we're now ready to put some pictures in. Okay, so let's get a picture to go on there. Let's start with the left-hand panel here. You could put anything you like, any picture that you want, but as it's a clothesline, I thought I'd get some clothes to put in. Let's start with the socks. There we go. So, the pictures themselves, here we go. These are the pictures that I took to go in there, but I need to get these the right shape to fit into the Polaroid frames. Now the Polaroid frames on our template are perfectly square, or nearly perfectly square, so we need to make our images square as well. And I'm going to do that by getting the crop tool and dragging a crop out. But you see, my crop can be any shape I want, and getting it square is a bit hit and miss, unless you hold the Shift key again. This time holding the Shift key means that your crop tool will only be a perfect square and nothing else. Like that. Okay, click the tick and we have a perfectly square picture. Right, let's go to Select, Select All, Edit and Copy, close the picture down. We don't need to save the changes, and we're back to our template. Then back to Edit and choose Paste to put the picture onto the template. So there it is on the template, but it's actually not looking so good because it needs to be behind that sort of Polaroid frame, and it's in front of it. Well, let's go and find our levels, our layers rather. Let's find our layers, that's it. And you can see what we've got. We've got the layer 1, which is the socks, sitting above layer 0, which is our template. Now remember right at the beginning we went to that trouble of removing the padlock. Well, here's why. Because now we can drag that layer down and underneath the template, like that. So now it's sitting on the right side, and we just need to make it a bit smaller to fit. To make it smaller, come to Image, Transform, and choose Distort. Let's bring that across. Distort means I can just drag these handles down like so. Now, we made our picture square, but the pictures on the template aren't perfectly square because they were literally blowing in the breeze. So they're all slightly off square. So Distort works very nicely indeed, because it means that you can just drag that in like that. When you're happy, click the tick. Right, let's fill the other two. Let's get another picture on screen. Let's go with the hat, I think, next. Come back. There it is. Okay, so again, we'll get the crop tool, and again, we'll hold the Shift key to make sure we have a nice, perfectly square crop. And again, we'll go to Select, Select All, Edit, and Copy. Close it down, and paste it in. Edit, and Paste. Now this time you'll notice it appears on the right side of the template. That's one of the little bonuses of using layers, is once you've put one layer below, all the next ones will appear below the template as well. So that's a nice little time saver. Let's go to Image, Transform, and Distort. And again, we'll just grab the corner handles and drag them in like so. And the third one, and the final one, like that. Okay, now this is, of the 3 Polaroid frames, this was the one that was blowing around the most, I think, so that's the one that needed the most distortion. But there it is. And finally, we've got the last one to go, so let's bring that up, and that'll be the gloves, of course. And we'll make a nice square crop with that as well. Again, remember to hold the Shift key, just like that. Click the tick, and then select it all, and then Edit and Copy. Close it down, and paste it in. Okay, and then we'll use the Distort transformation, and then bring those handles in. Now the tricky one is the top left corner of this one, because you can't actually see the top left corner of the Polaroid frame. It's not actually visible. So you need to use a little bit of common sense and think, well, it's probably going to be about there. Don't go too far, of course, because it'll appear in the picture next to you. So around about there looks about right. Click the tick. Okay, and we're done. Okay, so there we are. We have the 3 pictures in place, and it kind of looks okay. But if we really want to finish this off, if we really want to make it look good, we've got to think about shading, shadows, and lighting. Because at the moment, the pegs seem to be attached to the picture, but not very real. Well, that all comes down to shadows. So let's go back to our layers, and we'll come up to the word layer on the menu bar, then New, and then Layer again. We'll give this a name. We'll call it Shadow, like that, and click OK. And we've made a new empty layer, and on that layer we're going to put some shadowing. Right, colour. Well, our shadow really needs to be a black or a grey. Now that's going to come from our foreground colour, which is currently blue, so that's not really quite right. So let's click there and choose either a grey or a black. I'm going to put a black in, and we'll get a paintbrush. And we'll get a smaller brush as well. I want the brush about the same size as the closed peg itself. So let's just come in and make our brush a little bit smaller. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think let's have a little look. That's spot on. It's 150. That's absolutely perfect. Then I'm going to move it just to the left-hand side of my peg and paint like that. Okay, and that's going to put a sort of a shadowy effect in. Let's move across to the next peg, like so. Lovely. And then the last one, just like that, and again put a little shadow there. Super. Okay, so we'll fit that onto the screen, and that just gives a little more 3 dimensions to the picture. But for it to really work, I think we need to drop the opacity of that layer down. So back to the layers, find the opacity slider, and maybe just push it back towards 50%, like so. Okay, so there we are. So there's our washing line of pictures completed. Have a go with yourself, try your own pictures in here, see what wild and wacky things you can come up with, and don't forget to send the best ones to us here at Digital Photo.